Here we are for part 2 of Racing Rant with special guest Stuart Davidson. Stuart's always very popular with our viewers.
And always very generous about coming on the show.
You're a very nice person, Stuart. What's fucking
You guys are my mates, I'm happy to help.
Yeah, but you haven't mean to... I've seen you mean only once, actually. Just recently.
Fair enough.
At cards. I saw a side of Stuart I'd never ever thought I'd see. I was a bit shocked, actually.
We don't need to go into that, do we?
No, we know, but it was just I'd never seen that side of you. It made me feel better about you being a person. I thought, at least you're normal. Emails, where are we?
Jim Malone, he wrote in, and he won't be listening to this because he says, love you guys, but I'm not watching you until you move indoors. Outside just doesn't work. We can't fucking hear you.
Okay, Jim. All right, mate.
Anyway, I'd look... he did get me going.
Thanks for emailing.
And we're getting mics. Like, I understand. I'm sorry.
Right,
we are getting mics.
What are we getting mics then?
Like, we're getting either something on there or this.
Oh, we can't wear this.
Or what are you going to wear? What do you want?
Well, we can't wear those things and look like...
all right, but I really want to do it outside. I hate doing the inside.
The outside's nice.
Right. I think we need to mic up.
We pay $5,000 a year for this park to the council.
Anyway, well, look, watch this space. Now, Teeny has emailed like this lengthy sort of question for you, Glenn. She says, first question for Glenn, seeing as he's going to become a trainer in the future, better be before September, with training partnerships all the rage, which trainer would he like to go into partnership with and which ones would he definitely not want to train with?
Okay, I'd go into a training partnership, like hypothetically, with Bjorn Baker, with Graham Begg, with Lee Curtis, all the battlers. What about Bjorn Baker about $100 million a year?
What about the peptides guy from Cronulla? What's his name? Thanks.
With James Hurd, I'd go into a training partnership with James. He needs to sharpen himself up a bit and get back to life instead of worrying about what people say about you. You'll be right, James.
Chris Lees?
Oh, absolutely. He'd kill the game in partnership with Chris Lees. Does a good job. Nice bloke. Yeah, there's a stack of us you would, but...
What about the Brill Cream boys?
What, like Snowdens?
Yeah.
Well, they're not my style of people, but then they're good trainers. You think Pete's ever said fuck in his entire life?
And what about Rick?
Well, how could you work with John at 5 in the morning?
He had the Panama hat on Saturday.
Imagine John O'Shea every day of your life, 4 in the morning.
I get on well with John.
I know, and so do I, but it'd be hard to go into trainership with.
I find him very easy to get along with, actually. But I am unique. Most people find him...
4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm not a 4 o'clock sort of person.
What about your swimming days? You must have been like
5:30.
His wife did win budding Olympian.
Wife of the century or something.
Isabel. She's lovely.
She does seem like a nice person.
I don't know how the hell he got her fair dinkum. He's batting well above his weight.
It happens. Right, so that's the trainer. Second question for Glenn. Seeing as he is insisting on correct pronunciation this year, is he intending to start pronouncing Deanne Panya's name correctly? Deanne is Deanne, not Deanie.
Isn't it Deanie Panya?
It's Beanie Panya.
Oh, it's Beanie Panya. Yeah,
third question for Glenn.
Thank you, team.
How much does it take for him to move a horse up or down in his selections based on what he's seen in the mounting yard?
Yep.
Take the following situation, for instance. He's done the form, agrees with the market order, and the price is in a 4-horse race. Horse A is evens, horse B is 2-1, horse C is 4-1, horse D is 8-1. When parading, C does nothing wrong, but is also doing nothing exceptional. D is also doing nothing wrong, but is also doing one thing that indicates it's ready. Might be pulling strapper along, or perhaps jockey's wearing spurs.
Okay.
Horse B is parading well, but doing one thing poorly. Might be excessive hind sweating, not dripping, but very foamy. Horse A is parading like a skunk, sweating profusely, salivating, 2 strappers, thrown jockey, led by Clark of course, ears and tail swishing every which way for no reason, everything wrong, trained by Anthony Cummings, haha.
You don't need to recap because we got them all there. How do I assess my order selections given that I realise he has 5 minutes to do this and gets his... We're not about getting my bets on because a lot of my betting is done before mounting up mail, and then because of the advantages of Betfair, if I decide, I'm going to go, for example, I had a massive bet on the weekend on Countess Marinov. Now it was $17 into $8.50. I had a massive bet at $3.80 a place in that race, which is a really, really good bet. And look, she came in, she was okay at best, and I was able to trade a lot of it out $3.10. a lot of it. So I still wanted to run a place, but I can change my position because of the fair. So that's a lot of 20. I get 25 minutes betting prior to the mounting out. Now I send my selections out. How would I take all these things into consideration, and sure, I move them all around differently, but obviously if a horse I've got marked A and it is even money, is parading like a complete skunk, and you've got last pick in the parade, it's going to be hard for me to put it on top teeny. So I don't know which way and what order.
But can you make it fourth pick, or you just move it down one?
Well, I give a commentary on how it's parading. Like there was races on Saturday when I said I'm tipping number 2 here, but every horse in the race is parading like a dickhead.
Yeah.
I can't help how they parade, and I can't. But then I, into having a tipping service too. You know, there might be one horse parade's good and it's 88 to 1, and they've got no form. It's hard to put it on top because it's 88 to 1. So I'm also trying to find you a winner. But things like Ware Shore, which was 42 to 1 on the fair, I had on top. It paraded absolutely perfect. I thought I could win the race, and after the race, I think it was a really great tip, but it ran 5th. So I've got to weigh all those things up, Teeny. But in what order do I have them here? I suppose I would have them B, C, A, D, or something like that, or B, A, C, D.
Okay. I have a subsequent question for the maestro.
Who's that?
That's you. Is it
Hey.
possible that a horse that's on a winning streak, having paraded poorly, suddenly parades well, being a sign of impending loss?
No.
Or a horse that's been underperforming and parading well, think Thumbtacks, everyone's thinking Thumbtacks, blast from the past, suddenly parading poorly and winning.
Okay, so obviously, like she says, we're talking about racing here, and horses change class, and those sort of examples do happen. But if a horse is parading poorly and then starts parading well and was winning originally, I still stick with it. As far as your question the other way,
Yeah, but she's basically saying, if they parade differently
yeah,
from the way they've been parading,
Right.
should we expect a different performance?
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I remember a horse in the 80s, and I can't remember his name. It was one of Stan
That
Fox's.
was funny. I remember a
Mayfield
horse
Smith.
in the 80s, but I can't remember his
Used to,
name. I was a horse.
Hieronymus's dad used to ride it. One like all the lead ups to the slipper, and he used to sweat like a pig every single start. And it
Imperial
went round.
Baron?
Sorry?
Imperial Baron?
No, but so Stan Fox colours. That ran in
That's
the.
a good guess, though.
It was the with the. Silver with the seam. One like 6 in a row.
Okay.
It sweated like a pig every single start.
Yeah, but I
and the
don't-
first start it paraded perfectly. It got gapped.
Well, so I don't mind horses sweating.
Okay.
The
Fair
people
enough.
assuming I'm following horses that
I'm just saying that's my.
everyone who does mounting yard mail doesn't like a horse sweating. I don't mind at all.
Okay. There you go. Well,
Depends-
this horse sweated
It depends
profusely.
how they sweat. We all sweat,
Okay.
but it depends how they sweat and where they sweat.
So between the legs, around the neck.
Well, I'm not telling anyone, Stuart, because I'm trying to run a business.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just
But you're
asking.
assuming that I care if they sweat, and I'm saying it doesn't affect me as much as everybody else.
It's going to drive me mad thinking this horse's name now.
Oh, well,
I know the horse.
you've got the rest of the show to think about it, Stewie. What do you guys make of Centrebet's announcement that they take bets from pros for decent amounts? Do you think this is representative of current market
Who's this
practices?
from?
This is from Dick.
Oh, dear.
In that they're happy to take anyone on while they can bet to 120%. Could it also have something to do with possibly a more level playing field emerging in Australian racing? And do you think punters can make a profit consistently taking skinny prices? Can they have such a big edge with their analysis to defy the price and bias?
Good question for you, Stu.
I think, personally, Centrebet are doing that to sort of prop up their turnover figures for whatever reason, possibly to sell it, possibly as a takeover target. They're only offering this service from 10:30 onwards. They're not offering, so they're letting the market between that 9 o'clock and 10:30 settle down.
Not
And
a stupid idea.
And then they're saying open the gates. Okay, have a bet. I don't think they're stepping out of the crease too far.
I agree with that.
Right, but it's still letting people on to win 5 is different. Different from
Two or naught.
yeah.
In the scheme of their turnover figures, but I don't think 5's a heck of a big number, really. Like,
No, I think
we had a
they
bet-
could all do it. But I mean, the fact is that they're doing something more than they have to.
True, and it's making people look at their side as well. Everyone's looking there now because you can get a bet on there.
And
Well, I had very few
I
bets
noticed that they're during the betting they're frequently the best odds.
Yes.
So they're having a go for whatever reason.
But and that is true, they are frequently the best odds, but I found very few opportunities to have a bet with them. In other words, I can get the same price elsewhere, or Betfair's a lot longer, or there's been very few times where I've gone, oh, they're marking this one urgent, they're betting way outside where the market suggests it should be. It's
They're
a
just
bet.
Henry Noonan.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a good analogy. Yes.
Okay.
Ploppy
An old-time
shouldn't remember
bookmaker.
anyone
Yeah.
from the wing, but he does.
Is Henry still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
The only ones that are still there when you were there would be Henry Noonan, Jeff Pendlebury,
Bill Murphy.
Bill Murphy,
And Leo stood there, I believe.
But he wasn't there when you were
Sandra.
there.
Yes, he was.
Leo
Leo
Lewin.
Lewin, yes, he was. He worked inside me on the Ramic rolls.
Wow.
And I'm surprised he's still there. But
I didn't realise Leo had been there that long.
Leo's been there forever. Well, I left 07, 08. He'd been there a long time before 07,
So
08.
it's only 10 years.
Yeah, EI. When was EI? Late
Oh, yeah.
2007 or early 2008?
Late 2007.
That was in a million, yeah.
So, yes, 10 years ago, Stewie Davison was on the rails in town.
Gee, I thought it
Seems
was
like
longer than
yesterday.
that.
It was
Speaking-
longer than that.
I thought it was 20 years ago you left.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's
Just
30
time
years,
goes quick.
30 years since Dominic.
So I thought Stu would have been 20, 15 maybe, not 10.
I was 88.
I can't believe you were working just before EI.
EI stopped me out. I was working before EI and I didn't come back after.
Hi Rant, when will we start a discussion about taking the on-course betting ring online? I'd love to see an app or web-based platform developed by the ATC or Racing New South Wales where you could bet directly with the on-course bookies. You sort of can, can't you? Isn't there best bookies?
That's WA, isn't it?
Yeah, but then, no, this is a really good email.
Okay, it would have to be on a closed network so you could only access it if on course. No turnover tax would be taken out, but a commission would be paid directly to the ATC. This could provide an additional income stream for the ATC and finally an incentive for them to promote on-course wagering. Well, they have no incentive to promote.
And they've got
on-course
none. They've got no agenda.
Bookies' overheads would reduce and those bookies on the lawn would no longer simply copy the official fluctuations and take the loose drunk money. This would then create more competitive pricing for on-course punters. Maybe I'm delusional. Scott.
Well, you are a bit delusional, Scott, because it's such a great email and it's such a great idea. And how anyone at the ATC or at Racing New South Wales doesn't get behind this sort of platform, why can't we just log into, be at home and log into, you might have accounts with 3 bookies and just hit buttons at home?
I remember the New South Wales Bookmakers Cooperative talking about this at least a decade ago. I can't remember why it fell down, but this was definitely tabled. This was definitely tabled for their attention, and for some reason it did fall over.
Why? Why though? Why?
I think there was a conflict of interest, but I can't remember between what parties.
Okay, so Stewie, how would you feel? You're at home in your leather undies as you usually are, and
You can access Sandro to more of $13 for
Fantastic,
$300.
of course, absolutely fantastic.
Or you
Western
can,
Australia have got something similar at the moment. That's that best bookies you asked. I think that's predominantly the Western
Gary
Australian run.
Clark's prices. You can just sit at home. You can see
Lots
there's
more opportunities, of course. I want it.
we could have a screen. We could have a screen on at home where you could put up like little blocks and every different. Not the best fluck. What the bookie
what the
is.
individual bookie is.
So it goes G Clark. You just tap
Yeah,
G
100%.
Clark, number 6, 250, confirm.
In this day
and
and
then
age,
he just goes confirm there.
in this day and age, the IT to do that wouldn't be that.
It's a
extravagant.
calculator.
all right, so let's start having the discussion.
Great, best email we've ever got, Scott, and you're not delusional. Unfortunately, you make a lot of good sense, but the minority is going to wear you down. You'll get beat.
I'm trying to remember whose best interest it wasn't in.
Corporates, maybe.
My
Maybe.
APN maybe?
The guy that had the
what's his
corners-
name?
Yeah, him. I think that's right.
But we're not using the
Remember
APN.
him, the representative, the bookies?
Ryan?
Tim Ryan.
I don't remember.
Maybe that.
Tim Ryan,
maybe he was a
But,
stumbling block.
there's no APN involved here. You put every bookie's prices up. So if Leo Lewin's $6 number 4, but
Yeah, no, I
it's
understand the
$11
point.
everywhere, but he's keeping number 4 because the rabbi said to.
What?
Don't you know what I'm talking about?
I gather he's Jewish from that.
No, don't you know? The rabbi gives him lucky numbers every 3 or 4 months, and he does not lay them.
That's all right. Anyway,
Stuart, I'm telling you. He wasn't laying 1, 2, and 8 there for last year or something. He won like $1.5 million in the year because 1, 2, and 8 won so many races. Do you know about this?
I'm waiting for you to smirk.
It's a truthful story. The rabbi gives him lucky numbers.
Now I've heard everything. Now I've heard everything.
See,
right.
this is where I've let myself down, not being religious.
So Gord put out an article before.
You don't even know these racecourse stories.
That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. It's not.
I promise you, it's the truth.
Anyway, Stu, you really shouldn't be arguing about this because you don't go on course.
That's true.
You miss para, everything.
Peter Phillips commented on Gord's little article last week. He said, "Thank God for the pen. Should do okay as I like a couple of his fancies." Now, Stu, you're a
Fantasies you're about to say.
you're a bit of a noughts and crosses man, aren't you, from way back?
I start looking at the
Ticks and
form with
crosses,
talks
sorry?
and crosses, but I'm value orientated at the end of the day.
So you don't use the pen? You
Well, the pen's a good starting point. You know what you want to find, what you don't want to find, and then slot him in an order.
so you go back and have a look at the pen.
Definitely.
Spurs Dave wrote in saying, I don't want to seem crude, but watching Sky Central with Richard Haynes, the question popped into my head, how many dicks can he fit in his mouth at the same time? There is such a thing as being too nice. If anyone says anything even remotely being nice, he tops it. I find I have to mute it as soon as he opens his mouth. It feels like a con to me, not that it is, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. Call a spade a shovel, for Christ's sake. Not everyone can be the nicest person you've known. If anyone should recognise an a-hole, surely it should be someone who kisses them all the time. I don't expect you to read this out on your show. I just had to get it off my chest.
Well, let me just jump in there. Sky Central is hard to watch because of the crew in it. But let me tell you something about Richard Haynes. He's a very nice bloke.
It's not engaging, it's not stimulating.
No, I don't think he's like putting it on to be nice on the camera. He is a good
No,
fella.
he's genuinely like that, I think.
I think he's just genuinely a good fella. But then, and I think this is good for Richard to hear, because if he wants to further his career, you've got to drop off wearing 8 different deodorants. You just got to, like, because he's got plenty to offer. I think he's one of the best in there.
Yeah.
But listening, I don't listen to him all the time. But if he was kissing everyone's ass like more and more, and it got like, I think he needs to maybe cop that tip, because I think he's got a big future in television. I think he's.
But none of that commentary is engaging.
So what is
No,
engaging
no.
commentary, Stewie? What
Fair
commentary?
dinkumness.
I don't want to hear, oh, everything's wonderful, everything's nice, I think my horse will won, and then after race here, yeah, we planned it that way, wasn't a great ride. I want to, after race, hear from the jockey that got beaten on the favourite, and before the race, I want to hear a little bit of objectivity. I don't want this tunnel vision, you know, everything's wonderful, back me, everything's wonderful, back me, look how pretty
I
my
know it's
horse
a funny
is.
time of year for presentation, but people are on holidays, and people who work at Sky, they're not like us, like 52 weeks of the year mental. But when I've done I do my Friday form like Thursday night, do the show Friday morning, then I do some more form in the afternoon, scratchings come through Saturday morning, and what do I do on Saturday morning? I used to always be doing the form on Saturday morning. Well, it's all done because I've got my things here. And on Saturday morning lately, I've been wanting to put on just form line extra or form line encore or something, because Mick Fraser will come in and be just a few different things with maps. So I'll go, oh, look at that. That's, I didn't see that coming from that map, or whatever. And I really enjoyed it. So what do we have very period? The other week they had the Jamie, blonde-haired Jamie
Rogers
does my head in, saying we've got
used to
our
be a big fan,
2
right?
experts here to talk about the form for the Saturday. It was ex-jockey girl Libby Nobody and Richard Friedman. Now everyone in Sky, you know Richard doesn't do the form. Richard knows he doesn't do the form. Everyone knows it. He can't become on as an expert. You know, like Tony Brusson, okay, he's kind of an expert. Mark Guest is an expert. Mick Fraser is an expert. They're these proper racing people that are worth. Now, if you can't get them, you might as well get Parron.
They stimulate thought and they give you a different angle to approach the race.
Well, Mick Fraser and Mark Guest certainly do.
100%.
Definitely. Mark Guest is excellent. Mick is great, but we know Mick so well. But I like to have a bit of stimulation of my thoughts. I don't want to listen to what Richard's got to say.
I want to hear where I'm wrong. I want to hear a different line of reasoning. Where,
You know, I have listened to Richard talk about a horse on course in the mounting yard area, talk about how well a horse was parading, and it was scratched. It was a late scratchy. Did you know that? Even Shin went past me. He goes, he's talking
So
about.
the horse never came into the birdcage, you're saying?
So what happened was number 8 was scratched. Shin's on number 7.
Yep.
He comes past me, Shin, and he goes, Glenn, Glenn, Glenn. And number 8 came out at 11:30. It's not in the ring because it's scratched. He was talking about how well it was parading. That'll just do me.
You've got to laugh, don't you? Jesus Christ.
Well, it means it's a bad product.
So it's a bad look.
It's a bad look. Getting back to Richard. Okay. Maybe it does make you sick, but I tell you, there's a lot worse than him, Richard.
Look, Richard's got talent, but I agree. The ass kissing is just it makes everyone puke.
But then Richard's looking. He's got probably a wife driving him.
No, you know what he's looking at? He's looking at the fact was there used to be 2 joints you could work for. Now there's only 1.
Yeah. And when you had a bit of like, I've got my own way here, Richard Callender, they run you out of town so quick. Well, like Richard, how annoying was Richard Callender? But how much do we miss him? Like, he was terrifying.
Heaps.
I mean,
Big hello to Richard.
Yeah. What do we miss
That's
him?
why I watch Sky Once and I have to listen to all that verbal diarrhea.
Scott, like just 5
Sky
to 6.
Once. That's just the next race. And they put a dog or a trot race on as a filler. not someone talking about, you know,
That's funny how you say that. That you would rather listen to
nothing.
Pinjarra Dogs
Yeah.
than
Yes.
old mate.
Yes.
Then the dribble.
Because that'll just upset
dribble.
me. I don't want to hear the dribble.
What about the dribble comes out of Gary Harley's mouth with every single favourite? Every single favourite. Oh, this will be hard to beat. Will it, Gaz? Thanks, mate.
Look, I know we take shots at Gary all the time, but I think Gary is an ornament to racing. I love the fact that he's so keen.
I think his keenness has made his life longer. It's a real good interest. Like, have you seen him? I mean, how's he walking around? He's a marvel.
He is a marvel. Jason emailed in saying, we've crucified J-Mac over alleged interests in a bet, yet Tommy Berry is out suspended and he's allowed to publish tips in a national newspaper. So I reprinted what he actually said, and he did give tips. And Tommy's best tips from the other races were Mount Panorama lost, Madotti won, Stratum Star won, Le Cordon Bleu lost. But he actually gave tips.
But they weren't even his mounts.
He wasn't
He's
riding.
not riding.
Tommy's tips.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
sure
in the
how
Herald
works.
Sun. It's actually in the Herald Sun.
Well, Tommy's in a bit of trouble. Tommy's in a lot of trouble.
He must have got permission. He must
Yeah,
have.
he would have got permission.
Yeah, he would have had it okayed for sure. Anyway, it's I don't know if you know any more, please
I
let
remember,
us know.
and I'm pretty sure it was Tommy, and if it was his twin Nathan, then I'd take it back. But I do remember Tommy. I'm pretty sure it was Tommy when it was on a 40s chance of a night meeting riding against Black Caviar, telling us before the race how his intention was to ride for second. It was brilliant. You know what? Finished second. Fuck, it was good.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either.
Fuck it, if I'm the owner, you're not riding me horse, son. Get me, where's Hieronymus? Give me anybody.
But it's the best sprinter we've seen in the last, 30 or 40 years. You've got to be thinking, well,
What about old mate in the ambulance going down the one-way street the wrong way?
probably someone in an ambulance, mate. I tell you, if I've had a cardiac arrest, mate, I might be ambulance be going down the wrong way too.
Aren't you more into like just? Is it just me that thinks just more that die, the better we all are?
Not when it comes to me or my family. I'm sort of hoping they hang around for a little while.
If I see an
longer.
ants behind me, I'm always trying to block him. Fuck giving him the run.
No, it's shut you.
So you're concerned about the population problem.
Oh, it's disgusting. We can't all live to 110.
Right.
Something the mathematics don't work.
Grant tweeted, I wish there was a Trots version of Glenn Pollitt that could also operate a video camera and YouTube account.
What does that mean?
Well, he wants you to cover the trots.
The trots, like honestly.
Yeah, Crookie tweeted he was particularly excited about Gord's use of the pen. Huge use of the pen, even showing some Gordo flair with the, what is that? Is that a paddle or what is it, Stewie? You're on Twitter. What is this icon that he's
Looks
put
like a
there?
straw.
It looks like something you play table tennis with.
Yeah, a bat or whatever it is. Love the rant and different views. #fan. Thank you, Crookie.
That's from Crookie.
Michael Dixon tweeted, is it that time of year again to be wary of the David Payne stable? I
No.
would have thought it's like winter.
Well, he did train the first winner the other day at
Warwick Farm.
$26, and he had a bunch of owners with him, and all high-fiving, and they had plenty on it.
You can get a winner at a big price.
Oh, well, you can, yeah, but then has a lot of runners at big price.
That's because you don't want to back anyone.
Oh, they're skunks, aren't they?
So when they get up, you go,
So, but there's a zero on the roulette wheel.
So you remember Gordo's hyperbolic chamber the other day?
oh yeah.
Hyperbolic.
It doesn't matter, it's a long story. I'm trying to get pronunciation.
Mark tell Gordo it's live high, train low in regards to altitude training, a la what the best trainer does in Melbourne. Stewie, do you know anything about this?
Live high, train low.
As in get to extract best performance.
Yeah,
out
go where
of
there's no
athletes.
oxygen. So you train high, don't you?
Well, this guy Grant has suggested that it's.
Well, Grant, you
just-
could be right. I thought the marathon runners train at high altitude for the oxygen depletion. And then don't they come back down? Isn't that supposed to be the benefit?
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I don't understand.
What is there more oxygen?
I'm out of my comfort zone here.
Last time you were high, there was an earthquake the next day. And
It was a week later.
44. he climbed Mount Kiliman wherever.
No, it's Everest, mate, and I didn't
Yeah.
climb it.
Fucking, he flew
you
out
get
one
to base
day.
camp?
The next day,
Almost.
go to base camp?
Almost. Base camp's
The next
about
day,
5,500. We got to
600,000 people were killed. Like everyone
But
got
mate,
killed.
if you've ever been in a pool, mate, a little murmur brings down quite a few buildings.
Yeah,
like,
but the minute you
they're not
move
master
out,
architects.
how come you get them? I would have been flying in the day that.
Right. Finally, we have to talk about the incident of the weekend, which was race 8 at Morfettville. and a horse that we know and love, Senior Council. Remember Lionel Cohen used to train that one?
Oh, I do, yeah.
And it's been to Northern Territory in the meantime and had its first start in SA, and I urge you to go and watch the race because it is amazing to watch this jockey ride diagonally after they turn for home and just barrel 3 horses.
Yeah, look, it looked poor. He's pleaded guilty, which is odd. I don't know. He's trying to get his girlfriend home, like, it's not that bad. Is it?
It looks pretty bad to me.
Had they been blousing on the day, I wonder? I don't know. But it's the most astonishing piece of riding I've ever seen.
Well, the fact that he held his hands up and said that, you know, I rode it that way. I thought he would have made the argument the horse hung and sort of pleaded ignorance, but it seems to me from the fact that he went in there and held his hands up, he's admitting his guilt.
Yeah.
And if he's admitting guilt, Jesus, say it's dangerous is an understatement.
Maybe he wants to get out of riding. Maybe he wants to tap out.
I think he's just done that.
Maybe, yeah. All right, J Max back in town. I saw him last night at the spot. I didn't see him. I just saw him walking in the street. So the inquiry must be this week.
Oh, his appeal, you mean?
Yeah, because I believe he's been in New Zealand, hasn't he?
Yes, so.
Yeah. So.
Any thoughts on that, Stewie?
I thought he was very harshly treated. Very, very harshly
But
treated.
it's mandatory sentencing.
Yeah, I know, and I suspect the appeal. I don't know why he's appealing because I can't imagine that's going to be any success. But maybe there's a course of action after the appeal that he needs to run through
So
the
you're
appeal
saying it's
status.
mandatory, Stuart? But what about when we had Chris? I spoke about last week on the show where Chris Muntz come over here from getting life in
Hong Kong
and racing New South Wales and Southern Queensland racing. They said, oh, well, you've got life, you're not allowed to on a racetrack again, but we're going to throw that out the things we like you.
No, but Racing New South Wales didn't do that. Remember, he couldn't come and ride in New South Wales. They went, this is disgusting. We're upholding the...
No, I don't think that was
Did
right. No, I think Volantis stuck solid with him.
I thought they stuck solid.
Oh, right. Sorry, I must have got it
No,
round
you
the
could
wrong
be
way.
right.
I got it,
Volantis was on the front foot saying, look, this
Oh, that's
boy's
right.
done the
No,
wrong
that's
thing.
right, yes.
He spent 18 months in jail. I know we should do what Hong Kong does and give him life, but we're not going to.
Yeah, sorry.
All I'm saying is the
not been
punishment
Victoria
should fit
that
the
said it was.
crime.
I agree with that. The punishment
And 18 months,
is too
the
big a
punishment doesn't fit the crime.
No. It definitely doesn't. And yeah.
And mandatory sentencing, like we're playing a game. I realise games have rules and you've got to abide by rules, but I'm not really sure where mandatory sentencing comes in for horse racing. You know, it's not exactly the
it's
legal
all because
profession.
of D. Oliver.
Because of
D. Oliver handled him, handled the whole thing. Like, handled the stewards, handled everyone, and everyone was so pissed
so he
off.
set a precedent by
That-
which James is now paying the price.
You don't watch this show ever, do you, Stu?
Occasionally.
No, you don't. We talk about this stuff week in, week out.
I
And
do
you
watch
keep
it
coming on going,
occasionally.
oh, you never heard about that. We'll wait for the last.
All right, that's the end of part 2. We're going to do a special part with Stewie after this.
So what did I miss?